and shocking, but not necessarily that surprising. On the eve of the anniversary of October the 7th, it had a long kind of list of examples of very worrying things, whether photographed on placards or whether recorded as chants, things like "Long live the Intifada," "Go home and count your money," "Internal Zionists now," "I love Hezbollah," "Hamas are not terrorists," "We don't want no two-state, we want 1948," Zionism is racism," "Yemen make us proud," "Zionism shut it down," "I just effing love October," "Long live resistance." All these things, and of course the old favourite "From the river to the sea," all these things seen, photographed, recorded at events over the weekend with no immediate police response to any of them at the time. On Monday, the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism posted that we are now at a point where anti-Israel demonstrators apparently feel free enough to yell support for prescribed terrorist organisations. What would have once been unthinkable has now become normalised. So we've seen this climate being allowed to fester for months. We've seen a fourfold increase in reported anti-Semitic hate crime. So is it any wonder that polls are showing 3/4 of British Jews now feel less safe than they did prior to last October, 50% have less confidence in the police, and amongst the wider public, 59% are deterred from coming into London on protest days?
For those watching this and reading this, a lot of the things that you read out are criminal offences. It's worth people recognising their criminal offences in case they try and repeat those for obvious reasons. So there has been a huge increase, an unacceptable increase in anti-Semitism over the last 12 and a half months. We know from past tensions in the Middle East that often leads to an increase in anti-Semitism, not just in London, not just in the UK, but across the Western world. That's unacceptable. That's one of the reasons why we spend a lot of time, effort and energy teaching our youngsters about what it means to be a proper Londoner, not believing the stereotypes, the racism, the anti-Semitism that some of these tropes are talking about. At the same time, the police service has worked incredibly hard, not just in relation to arrests since this weekend, but over the last 12 months since the horrors and tragedy of October the 7th, to reassure our Jewish communities that the police are there to keep them safe. It is a fact, though, you're right. Londoners who are Jewish are feeling scared, sometimes for good reason. There is a heightened fear for many Londoners who are Jewish to go into the centre of our city on days when there are protests. And those of us that aren't Jewish need to understand that and show allyship, empathy, solidarity, but also to call out some of the things you've called out this morning, and I commend you for calling them out. The police have been quite clear in relation to taking a zero tolerance towards crimes being committed, but also hatred in our city, and they're the full support of not just myself and the government, but also clearly members of the Assembly as well. I will make sure I feed into the Commissioner your comments this morning to make sure any of the comments you've said that aren't being investigated are just followed up as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that. All I'm asking for is consistency. Please, can we have a situation where the disorder over the summer that was dealt with swiftly by the police and justice system, swiftly, decisively and nipped in the bud, that needs to apply to this too. We've had 12 months where that hasn't been happening, or certainly hasn't been perceived to be happening. Please, can we have that level of consistency?
Can I just say, for the audience, I reject completely the assertion that the police operate in a two-tier policing model. They don't. The police without fear or favour. I support the police in their response over the summer, and I support the police in their response this weekend. But he's right. There are some offences that have been committed that need to be followed up if they've not already been done so, and I'll make sure the police follow those up.